It's the midweek edition of Breakfast Central. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that your week is off to a great start. I don't know if by Wednesday you can actually say that your week is off to a great start, because it feels like you have already.
Yeah, you've done 2 days, and they say in a race, the first step you take will determine how the rest of the race would happen.
That's a lie.
Yeah, so if you had a fantastic Monday, then you set the trajectory.
Sometimes the week starts off great, and the rest of the week is.
But here on Breakfast Central, we always start off great, especially when I'm around. What
if you are not around? It's just me and you.
It starts off great, but when I'm around, it's greatest or greater than. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Welcome to Breakfast Central. Thank you. Always, always a pleasure to start with you. For the next 3 hours, join us to explore the latest in Nigeria's political economic space. My name is Olive Emodi.
And I'm Benga Bora. Welcome to Breakfast Central. You know the drill. This is the right place to start your day. And we'll start off with wake-up conversations. But before we get there, Olive, I want to say, today's Wednesday. And you know, you always have Women Crush Wednesdays. Guess who my Woman Crush Wednesday is for
Favor.
Today? It is you.
I pretty tell. Why? Why am I your one crush?
Don't you deserve it? Why are you doubting yourself? You deserve it now. You're a gorgeous, wonderful professional. And even outside the cameras, you're a fantastic person. Because people put up, you know, this profession can be similar to showbiz. You know, you put up a face and then behind the scenes, you're a terrible person. Yeah. On the scene and behind the scene, I can vouch for you. You're a wonderful person.
Thank you so much. I want to dedicate this award to my mommy, to my dad.
After saying all these things, on your wedding day, if I'm not in the high table, I reverse it.
Okay. Let's get on with
the program.
When we reach that bridge, we'll find a way to cross it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into today's program. It's very interesting that for those of us who live in Lagos, there's been a particular trend we've noticed that has increased in the past weeks. And it's one of these people on the streets who beg for money. Some are the kids, the teenagers who beg for money. Others are those who look for the slightest opportunity to extort you when you try to park, you know, whatever it is. So it would seem here that the Lagos State government has said that we should stop giving money to miscreants. They want celebrities, influencers, and everyone in general. It would seem that this was inspired by someone who had shared their displeasure, calling on the Lagos State government to step into the arena, because there was a video of singer, you know, worldwide global superstar, Burna Boy, who was let's just go straight into the tweets. Olukayode Jenny Fuja said, the state needs to station the men of the Lagos State Neighborhood Watch to help and protect motorists from the harassment, extortion, assault, and intimidation by many homeless boys and teenagers along the corridor. They are all a menace to us all, and he tags Lagos State government and Tokunbo Wahab. And in response to this, we did see Tokunbo Wahab saying, while your opinion is valid, let me also stress an important point. Celebrities, influencers, and even well-meaning Lagosians must stop giving money to these miscreants. Each time you hand them cash, you are not solving their problem. You are encouraging them to stay on the streets, emboldening them to multiply, and reinforcing a cycle of lawlessness. What may seem like an act of kindness only makes enforcement more difficult and creates bigger security and environmental concerns for all.
You know, oftentimes we see a problem and we want to bury our head in the sand and wish the problem will go away. Or we use a fire brigade approach. But let's see this video first. And then,
so this is the video that, you know, it's sort of one of the videos that inspired this, because there's a video of allegedly of Burna Boy, and you will see all of them running after him in their droves. You can look at that.
That's Burna Boy in his McLaren Senna. Such a nice motor vehicle.
Please, let's take a look.
I've seen those videos. This is, it's fan love. It happens. When people see Michael Jackson, they faint. When these boys see their idol, in Burna Boy, they want something. Yes, that's what the Gen Zs call him, Idolo. They see something they aspire to, so they're in celebratory mood. But this happens to everybody, basically everybody. If you go for a wedding, event centers and all of that. But let's get to the crux of it. I'm not very comfortable with calling them miscreants. Maybe they are miscreants. And I don't think anybody, when they were born, when they were doing their naming ceremonies, their parents intended for them to end up on the streets as vagrants, as miscreants, as, you know, hoodlums, whatever tag people often give them. They are a symptom of the failure of our society. If we've done a better job in social safety nets, in providing quality education and also social services to take care of these kids and that grow up to be young adults, I don't think we'll have this menace in Lagos. And it's taken a serious dimension. There's almost no event center you go to. You can't even park peacefully. It's one sort of harassment or the other. And there's also a sense of entitlement to it. They believe, look, since you're doing better economically than us, you owe us, you have to pay us this. And my fear is that it might get to a level where they begin to threaten and, you know, tax you, because we've heard incidents of people getting into accidents and, you know, once they come rescue you, some of these boys, the first thing they do is to get your phone or your valuables. They are not even concerned about trying to get an ambulance and things like that. So it's terrible. We need to nip this in the bud. We need to look at it holistically,
right,
not just clearing them off the street. If you chase them from the street, and that whole corridor, there are shanties, there are slums, it's an army of
I mean,
this.
just to add to all that you've said, banning handouts is not the way to fix the problem of quote-unquote miscreants, like he's referred to them as. The better way is to look at what the root causes of these miscreants are. The reason why people are loitering the roads, why they're loitering the streets and begging for money, it's obvious, right? There's a high level of youth unemployment. There's poverty. There are weak institutional systems. And this is why these young people who should otherwise be employed and thriving in the various businesses are on the streets begging. So let's fix that.
So it's not the celebrities,
shifting the blaming. It's
5,000 naira,
exactly. It's not my either giving them or my refusal to give them that will stop them from being on the road. So you
choosing to give them, it's personal, but the government has the overall responsibility.
Absolutely. So I do think that it's important that we fix what the actual issues are. The issues are that we have a problem with poverty, a high level of youth unemployment, and if we don't fix this, what this will metamorphose into will be insecurity. Because remember last year, was it last year or 2 years ago, when we were breaking people's glasses inside traffic?
Oh, yes.
A number of these people end up morphing into criminals, right? You know, they said the idle mind is devil's workshop.
You've seen Sycamore has been hit twice. There was one, the xenophobia protest, Nigeria, South Africa. They were hitting South African business establishments, and they took a real loss. And then during the NSAS, they're ready to foment trouble and just cause chaos at the slightest provocation. So the sooner we do something about it, the better. But let's take reactions from X on this tweet from the Honorable Commissioner. Julian Onuaku says, well, your point is valid. Let me also stress an important point.
This person, first of all, decided to start with the same line.
Celebrities, influencers, and even well-meaning meaning Lagosians that give money to these miscreants in Oshodi, Mile 12, Mile 2, Ikotu, Ikorodu, Ojota, Aja, Ikorodu, etc. These people were created by the state under the disguise of NURTW workers' staff working for one chairman. They are everywhere and a time bomb to explode anytime. So please, let's tell ourselves the truth. Yeah,
Mr. Foshere, interesting name, says, if you don't give them, they attack you and vandalize your car. Exactly.
They've started.
I didn't even know that, they had started. Majority do not give them money out of kindness. We're literally scared. Let me add that even those squeegee boys and girls who are offering to clean your glass with water, you don't give them money. They wait till the traffic light turns green. As soon as it's turning green, they'll pour soapy water on your windscreen. Ude Chukuma says, again, passing the buck for the government's responsibility. The truth is no one likes to beg. The situation in the country is unbearable and people are now making a career out of begging. The government's duty is to ensure that criminals are catered to. In the USA, the government provides food stamps and in some cases helps citizens pay rent and even phone and internet bills through its social security program. When you ask citizens not to help, you leave these poor people with no other option but to resort to crime. Providing for people experiencing poverty may be an act of charity, but it is also the most critical layer of security. Very interesting.
Yeah, but those people should also not have a sense of entitlement. You don't know the state of it. You are not entitled to another person's
I agree.
money.
So I want, okay, let's take this and I'll come to respond to that. Eniton says, Lagos State should have a skill acquisition training center where jobless young people are sent to if found loitering on the roads.
I mean, in fairness, Lagos State has several skill acquisition initiatives, but the question is, how many citizens can it absorb? How many people can it absorb? And also the volume of people coming to Lagos State every day with just like the American dream. They have a naira and a dream and they feel everything happens in Lagos. Somebody comes all the way from one region of the country to ride motorcycles to, his brother made it that way. And they feel, look, Lagos is a land of opportunities. And this also puts a strain on the government and resources. But they need to rise above that and, improve social safety nets and create avenues. These are, some of them are hardworking, they're healthy, they're energetic. You could put them to very productive use. And you don't really need, they could help as farm hands, they could work in factories. So we need to, we've been drumming industrialization, production and all of that. So we have the manpower. Let's just create the enabling environment and put them to productive use. Yeah.
Well, to respond to what you had said earlier about, these people should also not feel entitled to other people's money, I completely agree. However, you can't stop entitlement. Entitlement is a human flaw that we have to deal with and manage. But then again, I resonate so strongly with that tweet that said we're passing the buck, that the responsibility should be with the government to provide the basics. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The basics people can't even afford. Then you're talking about the extras. Food. Let's just be able to give them a decent quality of life. The Constitution provides for certain rights. Rights to dignity of human person. If we can't afford the average Nigerian the basic quality of life, then we've stripped them of that right. All right, our next conversation. Federal government introduces ethics criminal record screening for teachers.
Did I get you right?
Well, so let me read it. It's federal government introduces mandatory ethic and criminal record screening for teachers nationwide. If you see the tweet here by NOA, the National Orientation Agency says, the federal government has launched a teacher ethics and criminal record verification framework to ensure that all teachers in public and private schools undergo thorough background checks before employment. Spearheaded by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, the initiative aims to restore professionalism and accountability in the education system by entrusting the nurturing of future generations to individuals of sound moral character. The framework will be integrated into the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN, digital portal enabling real-time registration, licensing, and monitoring of teachers. This move is expected to prevent impersonation, forgery, and the employment of unqualified staff in schools. The TRCN registrar, Dr. Runke Shoyombo, noted that the digital portal will also enhance teacher quality through features such as AI-powered lesson planning and state-level investigation panels. Okay. When I first heard it, I think I was a bit taken aback when I saw criminal record. I was like, criminal record care for teachers. You did not start with politicians. You went straight to teachers. Or
members of the armed forces and Nigerian police that is always in the news for one reason or the other.
I'm like, teachers, innocent teachers. I see what they're trying to drive at, but I don't know that that fixes the core problems with Nigeria's education sector. Our education sector, the majority of our issues isn't because people are forging their certificates. It's because Nigeria's education is highly underfunded and that we don't have quality quality isn't just in terms of the quality of teachers.
And people are going into teaching as a last resort.
As a last resort, not because of passion. Back in the day, people used to be passionate about teaching. You know, people,
be very
when
proud.
you ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? You hear people who will say, I want to be a teacher, because there was dignity. People looked forward to being teachers. Now, we're filling in the teaching gap with NYSC students, core members, who would maybe rather not be there.
I mean,
we're
it's a
filling in the gap.
measure.
Yes, people who are waiting to write JAMB will do teaching as a part-time thing until they write JAMB. Some people have a job and they're using teaching as something to fill in the gap.
Or they got into university to study education because they had low cut-off marks. So the teachers that are meant to impart our children, you're going for the ones with with low scores. I mean, it's really, really terrible. But beyond the character, I mean, it's nice to do a background check on character, because they are the ones that would impart knowledge on our children, and you know what they take in would last forever. They have such a huge impact on how our wards and children will turn out. But beyond, like you said, beyond character check, you also need to look at the curriculum, the work conditions, and other issues that they're bedeviled with. And fantastic initiative. I really just hope they can spread it across board.
Exactly.
Starts with the Nigerian police
They
force.
should do it for everybody.
Yes, and everybody.
Everybody. I used to think that they were already I would think they were already vetting teachers before now. I mean, like you say, it's great. We want to be sure that the people we're entrusting our children with are people of, you know, great moral and impeccable character. It's beautiful.
Vetting on paper, because police recruits,
I mean, they're saying they're doing.
They tell you they're vetting. They're one traditional ruler or
You just pay a certain fee, and then they say investing fee.
You don't.
Well, this one is real time from the explanation. It's digital real time monitoring. Yeah. But like you said, it should be across board. And after vetting, then pay them well. It's not that you vet them and then you're underpaying them. Let's see what Nigerians think about this on X. Of course, Nigerians would always react to this. Yusuf Maigari says, Dear NOA Nigeria, I know you cannot do or undo anything, but you should advise the Nigerian education that what is more important right now is the condition of our schools and the teachers. They are vetting teachers that don't even have schools, decent schools to teach in. Background check with what? Is there even a database of criminals? Most government employments aren't based on merit but political connections. Will you dare reject the candidate of a powerful Nigerian politician or leader of a ruling party if such candidates are criminals? Bros Femi is asking. Well, Uncle Femi.
Bros Femi, do you think he's related to Jet Li?
I saw that coming. Iwalewa says, Teacher Registration Council of Nigeria should change its candidates. I visited its office in Ado-Ekiti to process TRCN certificate. I was told I could not process it because the 6 months window for certificate processing after the release of exam results had elapsed. Too bad.
I mean, and then what happens?
I don't know.
Wow. Incredible.
Bright Matthew says this mandatory screening for criminal background should include drug tests for all, highlight the all, public office holders, including our lawmakers. They require this test the most. Misplaced priority everywhere in government. That's Bright Matthew's thoughts. And
Ogebe Anthony Emeka says, no one to speak for the teachers. They use teachers to test run new policies. Yeah, it'd be nice to, you know, do focus groups, talk to the teachers and know what their immediate needs are and what should be priority on a scale. Because many people will argue that, look, there are other pressing matters, the working conditions,
I know what the pressing
welfare.
matters, exactly. I know the pressing matters, and it's not hard. The pressing matters first will be to increase their salaries. Teachers don't earn well enough. The teachers that are getting paid fairly decent salaries are the teachers in high-end private schools. The average teacher in Lagos or in Nigeria, let me not even make it about Lagos State, the average teacher doesn't get properly paid. How much are they paying lecturers? That we're talking about teachers in secondary school. Lecturers, professors
we don't
are not getting
the
paid.
Importance of teachers? Because we all went through teachers. The politician, the president, the doctor, the pilot, every professional went through the services of teachers at one point in their life. So why are we paying lip service to their welfare? And why are we not giving them the adequate attention they need? And when they make it to the news, we're trying to test run a policy on them.
So the most important thing, and I would say when I talk about teachers, I'm not just going to restrict it now to teachers in the primary and secondary school. I would say teachers across board, from primary school to tertiary level and above. I would say that the priority will be welfare. We need to increase salaries and remuneration of teachers, lecturers, professors, people who are in the education space. We need to reprioritize education.
Absolutely.
Then we also need to look at our budget. What's the percentage of our budget that's allocated to education? We've never really met up with UNESCO's prescription for budgetary allocation to education. And those are the areas we should be focusing on. What's global best practice in terms of budgetary allocation? What's the recommendation? How can we, as a country, look forward to achieving that? And even state-wise, bringing it down to state levels. Can each state reach that target? Then when we're done with that, actually build schools. Dan Bello is building school. Remember when he was building a school in the north and told us it cost him, I think it was 4 million or 4.1 million naira to build a very decent, it was a decent class, had everything there. Then imagine the billions that are relooted. If they were invested in the education sector, how many schools will be built?
You know, you're not doing us a favor. You're doing the country a lot of good in the future, because the quality, the better educated your populace is, the better the quality of life of the citizenry in the future. There are also security implications to it. So, I mean, those in authority should just do the right thing and listen to the people.
Absolutely. Well, when we're talking about how much revenue should be allocated to education in terms of what our budget is saying, maybe, just maybe, as we're looking, counting down to 2026, we'll start to see an improvement in that area. Why? It would seem that we have met our revenue target. Our president says no more local borrowing. Let's take a look at this video.
Economy is stabilized. Nobody is trading piece of paper for exchange rate anymore. We know the direction that we should go. We are going up. No, those who may not know will not know. Today I'm standing before you, I can brag that Nigeria is not borrowing a dime from local banks. The revenue, we have met our target of revenue for the whole year. We met it in August. I will reviewed this morning. Non-oil. If non-oil revenue is doing well, we have no fear of whatever Trump is doing on the other side.
They have it, the very boastful and happy President Bola Ahmed Tinubu saying, non-oil revenues have gone up. They've met their revenue quota for the year, and it's just the beginning of September. How fantastic. And he also went on to say that the country and the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is not borrowing a single dime from local banks, and of course trust Nigerians to always react. Growing up under the military, communication was one way. When the president says something or when directives are given on NTA, you don't get feedback. But we live in a more democratic space. Thanks to social media, you get to feel the pulse of the people and analyze their thoughts and policy decisions. You can't just take decisions or make statements and go to bed. There will always be reactions, especially if you're a public figure. So the big question here is, okay, you've met your revenue target for the year. Fine, fantastic. So the people that complain about local contractors are not being paid, They have not been, some of them are complained about not being paid. We also have the aspect of foreign borrowing, which is the elephant in the room. He didn't address that. When are we going to stop borrowing?
At least we're not borrowing from local banks. We're borrowing from. Are we borrowing from?
We've solved the local component of it.
But then another issue that a number of people have raised in reaction to this would say again, when we hear things like this that sound pretty exciting and warranting of an applause, the way that most people would react to, or the way that the average Nigerians typically react, will say, how has this translated to an improved quality of life? People. That's one. Another thing that we've heard is that it would seem that the tax bracket has been increased for Nigerians, and when the tax bracket is increased, it doesn't feel like Nigerians are getting more in return for what they're giving. So they're giving more and getting less in return. So at the end of the day, all of that, all this good news sounds good on paper, but if it doesn't translate yet, how soon, if they're saying that it's not going to translate yet, how soon will it be able to translate?
Give us a timeline.
To the lives, to improving the quality of lives of the average Nigerian? Because to be honest,
and now that they've met their revenue target, would they slow down on taxation? And let's start with the passports.
Slow down, why?
Taxation and the passports, the new passport regime. 100,000 naira for 32 pages.
It's just going to keep, what goes up?
Why is everything seem to be driven towards revenue generation?
The law of gravity does not apply here. What goes up does not come down. That's really sad.
But the government says they've met their revenue targets. Let's not also forget that Nigerian diplomatic missions abroad, 2 years into this administration, ambassadors have not been appointed, and there are implications, diplomatic implications to that. Some Nigerian embassies abroad are complaining about failure to pay rent. I mean, some of their staff are complaining that, you know, they have to resort to other means of making money. So it would be nice if the government, we're appealing to the government to look at that, appoint ambassadors, so you can, all these diplomatic missions, and they can fulfill their mandate and responsibilities in different parts of the world where they are. Because, I mean, it seems what Mr. President said, it almost feels like money is not our problem. So use the money to do the things you're meant to do to benefit people. Pay the doctors, pay those people that
doctors
pay
have given a 10-day ultimatum strike.
Pay the teachers, pay the nurses, pay everybody that needs money.
Well, let's, of course, Nigerians are talking about this. Let's see what they're seeing on X. And Nigerians have, they've said, let's clap for PBAT. Glad he's bragging about meeting revenue targets by taxing the life out of a populace grappling with hyperinflation and crippling poverty. Nothing says economic success like celebrating a surplus built on the backs of citizens who can barely afford to eat. Ride on. With the road,
we haven't even started. The new Nigerian Revenue Service, the tax regime that was just passed, the tax bill that has become law, will kick off on 1st of January 2026. So if you think you've been taxed,
you are just about to enter.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Once you earn past a certain bracket, you are going to be taxed. And now they're going to be doing it in accordance with the bank, so there's no way you are escaping it. Ike says, so the brag is that Nigeria isn't borrowing locally, as if that alone means the economy is in paradise. Meeting revenue targets in August is fine, but when inflation is stroking households, debt servicing abroad is skyrocketing, and capital projects are stalled, such chest-thumping sounds hollow. Non-oil revenue growth is good news, but let's not confuse it with a thriving economy. Until it translates into cheaper food, stable power, and real jobs, it's just another political A1 self-grading. This is exactly what I was saying. That the average person doesn't care about this. They just want to see that they go to the market to buy things and things are considerably cheaper. One day, Nigerians will appreciate what Asiwaju has done for this economy. I hope the governors and local government chairpersons wet the ground and release this money. I also hope there are more social programs to cater for the poor. God help Asiwaju. Nigeria must be better, says Okoye Taiwo.
And for those who are not familiar with Asiwaju is the traditional title of Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
All right, of course.
In case they are wondering who is Asiwaju.
No, they cannot wonder. How can you not know?
No, maybe some tourists are just watching us that came from Colombia with the vice president, they might be watching Breakfast Central because I heard they love us in Colombia.
Wow. It's St. Lucia.
Yes.
They really, really
And
love us
Brazil.
more. Anyway, if you'd like to share your thoughts, like we always remind you, we're streaming live on YouTube. We're streaming live on News Central on YouTube. Please go there. From time to time, we go there to engage and take some of your comments as often as we can. And when we open the phone lines later, when we're reviewing the newspapers, we then open the phone lines for you to call in. We'd like to urge you to be a part of the show. And let us know what your thoughts are on any of the stories, the wake-up conversations. Are you excited about the fact that we've met our revenue target? Are you also excited about the clearance, the metrics by which our teachers will be vetted? And do you genuinely believe that it's important that celebrities and influencers are banned from giving alms to people on
Ordinary
the streets?
Nigerians,
Ordinary Nigerians are banned from giving alms. Let us know your thoughts on News Central Live or at News Central TV. But now let's share with you what our top stories today are. This morning on Breakfast Central, resident doctors hand the federal government 10-day strike ultimatum over unmet demands. And we'll be reviewing the state of the nation. So much has happened in the past weeks that we can't wait to bring to you. El-Rufai alleges police complicity in ADC Kaduna attack, and we'll be talking about that. We'll also be looking at El-Rufai's coalition drags Nigeria police to court over Kaduna political clash. The newspaper front pages will have our analysts join us, and we'll have your thoughts as we open the phone lines for that segment. Join us.